When we get a new motorcycle at On Two Wheels, there's a few things we need to know. First up, who makes it and what are we calling it? Alright, and what's the engine spec? More importantly, what's it make for power? How fast is it? Okay, time for a brake check. And we never forget the 2 W's. Finally, how much does it cost?
So there we go. Nearly everything I wanted to know about this fantastic new model. And we only had to wait like 2, 3, 4 years to get all the facts. But in any case, now I know how much horsepower it makes. I know how much it weighs, not very much. I know how fast it goes down the drag strip. So that just leaves 2 things that I'm still not super certain on, which is how to say the brand name and the model name. I mean, some folks are saying like Husqvarna. I mean,
it's Husqvarna.
I'm not gonna say it like that. There's not enough syllables. I'm saying Husqvarna, whether you guys like it or not. And then the model name is Vitpilen, Vitpilen. There's Vitpilen. It means white arrow. There's a lot going on there. No, you don't have anything for me this time? Great. And in any case, I have all the information I need to understand this motorcycle.
Ooh, disagree. Very disagree. You need to know how it makes you feel. We need to know how it makes you feel.
How it makes me feel? It makes me feel happy. I mean, that thing's a hoot to ride, like wheeling, sliding, like it's got great power. It's a blast.
Power in corners and wheelies, yeah. But it's not always about just that, right? Like sometimes, like how does it like percolate your grounds?
All right, yeah.
You
I think what Macklemore over here is saying is that like this bike has a very powerful essence about it, and it's it's really exotic. In order to get to the core of that, we probably need to ride it somewhere more exotic than the drag strip, somewhere more exotic than just SoCal.
Absolutely, like a Brooklyn or Coachella.
Oh, I was thinking like maybe like Barcelona.
Europe, old school, lit, love it.
Welcome to Barcelona, or I guess as my auditor would say, Barcelona, Spain's epicenter for fashion and cultural happenings, and therefore the perfect place to experience a motorcycle that Husqvarna says is modern, stylish, and progressive. We've already gotten some hard data on this bike from our testing back in the US, so now we get to experience the Vitpilen in its natural environment. Okay, obviously the Vitpilen is an urban animal, but it seems like when most manufacturers try and urbanize their bikes, they just make them look retro. And I know the Vitpilen's got more than a whiff of nostalgia about it, but if it does, it's only because it's so lean, it's so bare, and it captures the essence of what a motorcycle used to be, but it does it in the most modern way possible. It's got a few components that are familiar, like the engine and some other parts, but I like that it brings something fresh to motorcycling. I mean, if you look at it, we're seeing stuff that we've really never seen before, from this crazy tank shape to the line that separates the front to the back of the bike. I mean, even the way they address the tail section, where it's just totally bare and streamlined. It's its own unique motorcycle with very unique style, and it offers its own kind of riding experience. Riding position is probably one of the biggest standouts. The bike's long and low, and it's got those flat clip-ons that come off the triple clamp that we're familiar with from the RC390. And while the seat looks like a board, it's actually pretty comfortable. It's obviously a good thing. You don't want a hard seat. Suspension is on the firm side, but again, not too stiff, just stiff enough to offer you good support and feedback. And this motor kicks ass. We got the 690 single in here. It's cranking out loads of torque. So, I mean, twist the throttle and go, maybe even do a wheelie if you're in first or second gear. So that makes all of these repetitive stops at stoplights a lot of fun, because once the light turns green, you get to fire off the line. As if it's not already evident, the Vitpilen is a good fit for city life. I mean, it's got the style to help you stand out, help you look good in a metropolitan area, and it's got the performance, the power, the brakes, and the handling that'll actually make this sort of stop and go riding enjoyable. All right, so overall, really impressed with this motorcycle, but there are a few complaints, and they all have to do with the cockpit. I am not a fan of that dash. It's this weird disc-shaped thing that's totally uninspired. And then the ignition is like an afterthought. They just like stuck it on the triple clamp. I would have loved to have seen a TFT dash, and keyless ignition seems like a feature that would have been a good fit for this motorcycle given how futuristic and streamlined it is, but I understand that stuff is going to add expense. All things considered, those are pretty small complaints, and more than anything, I'm just surprised by how well this thing works and how much fun it is to ride.
Well, we wanted to know how the new Husky handled in the city. Turns out it works great, and boy, what a city Barcelona is. This place is amazing. But as a tried and true performance enthusiast, I can't help wondering, how's it gonna handle in the twisties?
You know, rolling into this product launch, I kind of had my doubts about the Vitpilen. I kind of thought it might be all fashion with no substance, but having ridden it in Barcelona, it's very clear that it's an awesome city bike, and now getting to rip it around on these terrific twisty roads, it's a good sport bike too, so we've got a really well-balanced, versatile motorcycle with a lot of style. Because it's got super lightweight handling, because it's got a torquey engine and a quick shifter, it's all good stuff that makes it a lot of fun on a twisty road. Can't really argue with this bike. It's kind of a cross between a supermoto and a sport bike. So you've got that forward lean to the riding position, but you've got all the torque and response to the single, so it's a really fun combination. I was worried that the front brake wasn't going to quite cut it because it's just a single disc, but it is a honkin' big one, and it works awesome. And we did have to take a couple miles of freeway to get here, and I expected the motor to kind of run out of steam and get real buzzy, and for the lack of wind protection to suck, but you're leaned far enough forward that the wind blast isn't too much of a problem, and the motor seems perfectly happy to cruise along at 75, 80 miles an hour, although the mirrors are pretty buzzy, you can't really tell what's behind you. But it's a lot of fun, it gets around, it's got everything you want for an urban bike, so that really just leaves one last thing we gotta talk about.
And that is price. In the US market, Vitpilen's gonna ring in at $12,000. Seems like a lot of money, right? It kinda is, when on paper, what you're getting is a 700cc single cylinder engine. But there is more to the Vitpilen than meets the eye. And having ridden this motorcycle in the city and up in the mountains, we think it competes with bikes like BMW's R9T and Triumph's Thruxton R. And frankly, that's impressive. What's also impressive is that Husqvarna has, in a lot of ways, created something original. We've seen manufacturers that up the ante with performance and with design, and what the Vitpilen does is a little of both. This isn't just a machine, this is an emotional experience. I mean, you don't just ride this thing to move, you ride this thing to be moved. Ooh, did you guys feel that? I think I just got my grounds percolated. That's really hard to do. Seriously though, whether you identify as a hipster, you ride Harleys, or you think sport bikes are where it's at, we think the Vitpilen's got something for you, and we hope you get a chance to ride it. In any case, that's it for this episode of On Two Wheels. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Are you rolling on 2 cameras?
Do it, percolate my grounds.
I'm not allowed to rub people on the internet anymore. The police told me that.
So is it too much to move around? You're way off your mark. Oh, off my mark? I thought I hit it.